What? Well, memorize it.
You know, beat me to it.
Well, it's July 2015, Omaha Linux Users Group. I am a systems engineer. I do it out of order and I screwed up. This happened last month, too. I'm John Larson. I'm a systems engineer with AIM here in the wonderful Exchange building. Not much changing. Hey, what happened to you?
What did I say?
Ouch.
I wouldn't admit that if I were home.
No, I was no, my father.
Skydiving.
Stay your child in a burning house. Yeah.
Is your right leg or your left leg? Do you still drive?
Yeah, it's okay.
Just not a
It's all right.
It's not an XP, so then a Navy ship from sea.
I like that.
Stay at the Coast Guard.
Dave, you want to speak about your mini maker fair coming up?
Sure. Tell us about your affair.
Hey now.
Hi, I'm Dave Thacker. I am one of the board members of the Omaha Maker Group, and I'm the production team for the Omaha Mini Maker Fair 2015. This will be our second annual. It's September 19th at the Omaha Children's Museum. Just saw that.
I'm going to be in LA.
We are still looking for makers until the end of the month, and we're going to have some very interesting competitions. There's rumors of an IKEA chair hack.
Oh, interesting. I subscribe to a IKEA hacking blog.
So that might be interesting. We will probably have some Raspberry Pi things going on. We may have some Arduino things going on. We'll have some outdoor exhibits this year. Hopefully people beating on metal and forging things.
Is it beating or eating?
Not eating metal, no. Can't do that at the Children's Museum. You also can't make beer at the Children's Museum.
Oh,
That's
no.
one of those things.
What about root beer? Maybe you could brew
Root
that.
beer, possibly. We'll see. Anyway, we would love to have you come down. If you are interested in presenting, and it could be anything. It could be technology, it could be textiles, it could be anything that you're doing that's creative, reusing, repurposing, or in general, improving on something. Please go to the OmahaMakerFair.com site and click on Register to be a Maker. And fill out the application, and we will be right. Any questions?
Is it just like almost like a vendor show for the makers? You get a little table and show your stuff, or?
Yeah, you get a table, you get to show your stuff off. Last year we had around 30 to 35 people. We're looking for 50 this year. Last year we did very well with people who are actually showing things versus selling things, and we're hoping to keep that ratio up this year. It's really about interacting with the audience and telling them how you did your stuff. But we will have some commercial people there too.
Well, is there time for like actual formal presentations, or is it just walk around and talk to people at the booths?
We actually will have presentations. We didn't have them last year, but we've agreed to, the Children's Museum's agreed to let us use their upstairs room, which is a very nice lab with about 8 tables and seats about 50 people. It has projection and sound, so we are going to do some presentations.
Is there a cost involved for attendees?
The cost for the attendees is the cost for museum admission. If you're a Children's Museum member, and you may not be, but if you're a member, then you get in for the cost of the membership. If not, it's just the regular cost of admission. I would like to stress this is an event for all ages. It's not just for kids. Actually, the Children's Museum was kind of surprised by some of the folks that showed up last year. Good. He said, a lot more dads came today.
Nice.
Anyway, that's it. Hey, thanks.
Thank you.
Hope to see you there.
computer is going to be talking about Raspberry Pi Medias. Isn't that sweet? Check 1, 2. Okay. Please silence your devices. Let's all go to the lobby for some. Let's all go to the lobby.
Hi guys, I'm Adam. I work at Google, and this is a Raspberry Pi. It's a little credit card size-based computer. There are, I was going to say there are many like it. This one is mine. This was relatively unique in a number of ways when it came out a few years ago. What? 3 years?
3 years.
3 years?
3 years.
2013 or 2020, yeah, something like that. In that, you know, small form factor device has been around for a long time. The key to this guy, though, was the market for this is specifically, originally it was for education, right? The goal of this is to lower the barrier of entry for computing devices, specifically for kids who want to learn programming. Now, it has many other uses, as you can imagine, but that was the goal of it. And the reason that's important is because that really controlled the decision from a price point. Originally, the original board you bought for this was $25. It's made by a company in London. This is the, what version is this? This is the Raspberry Pi Model B plus B 1.2. This was $35. So still pretty cheap. Since then, a lot of different companies have come out with similar things. But that's still kind of the granddaddy of them. And there's, we'll talk more about it as we keep going. What I want to walk through tonight is how to very easily install a Linux distribution on these, because as of right now, that is the primary operating system you use on Raspberry Pis. And once we get that going, we will look at a common application for it, which is the Plex Media Server, which will allow you to stream media content across your local network and the internet, all powered by your Raspberry Pi. So I want to kind of jump into the install, and then we'll talk more about the history of this while the install is going on, so it takes some time to do. So the URL I'm at now, it's a little hard to see on here, but it's just raspberrypi.org. And if you click on their download section, it takes you to a page that describes NOOBS, N-O-O-B-S, which is the new out-of-the-box software, is what that stands for. It's basically a nice little front end to get you started with Linux on a Raspberry Pi. And you have some options here. You can buy a pre-installed SD card if you want the whole bit. If you go to Amazon and just search for Raspberry Pi Kit, you'll find all kinds of things that you can buy that just give you everything you want. Because if you just buy the Raspberry Pi, it's just that board right there. That's it. It's got USB, it's got Ethernet, it's got audio out, it's got HDMI, it's got power. But you have to supply everything else, right? I'm supplying the keyboard, the mouse, the HDMI cable, the Wi-Fi adapter. This one does not have any wireless support built in. And a micro USB phone charger to actually get the thing working. Okay. Most of which I imagine will always have some of those floating around. So that's not too big of an expense.
Like the kit, it's like $70 for like all those parts.
Right. If you want everything, including oftentimes a really nice case that'll fit in, $60, $70 will get you everything you need to, you don't have to buy anything else, including and the
except keyboard and mouse and monitor.
Yeah. Right. It'll probably come with a 32 gig micro SD card, 16 or 32 gig micro SD card. So what we're going to do is walk through getting this started here. It's pretty standard if you've installed Linux before on any device. We're going to download an image, and we're going to copy it onto a micro USB. So I have, in my Mac here, I have a micro USB installed with the adapter, and I'm going to follow the instructions here. The only thing that's unique about this you've done before is they recommend that you use this special formatting app called SD Formatter. That's free software. So I have that installed on here. I'm going to do that, and I've had good luck with that. I'm just going to use that. It takes very little time to do. So SD Formatter starts, and it says, oh, I recognize you have a card in here. It's a 32 gig SD card. I'm going to do a quick format.
Are you doing that from the website?
No, I downloaded this app. Oh. It's hard to see, I know.
I think the brightness might be turned up on
yeah.
the projector.
Okay, so that's done.
It says format, not.
Yeah, it's just essentially prepping the card. What it's doing.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's done. Now, I already downloaded the news zip file, and I unzipped it. And it is actually right. It's here. Okay. So all I have to do now is go to the This is my micro SD card, and I'm simply going to select all these files, eventually select all these files, and drag them. Okay. So once that's done, we're going to take this out, and we're going to move the Raspberry Pi to it.
I'm assuming that the formatter probably sets the bootable flag.
Yeah, see, and that's why, you know, if you've done this before with images that you download, like ISO files, you often have to DD it onto your device, which you can do. This just makes it really easy to do. I've had issues doing DD on this Mac for whatever reason. I don't know why, but this process always works without fail. So I'm happy with this little SD formatter thing. So we're going to copy all that over there, and then we're going to boot up to it, and we'll see what it gives us. It's basically just a front end to pick what operating system you want to install, and then it goes ahead and installs it and overwrites whatever the noobs installation we have on here. You have a number of choices of Linux distributions that are designed specifically for the Raspberry Pi. The most popular one, and I believe the oldest one, is called Raspbian, which is just a Debian-specific port, or a Raspberry Pi-specific port of Debian. There are also thrower versions. There's an Ubuntu version, there's an Arch version, so you can pretty much pick most of the popular
I
distributions.
think there's Ubuntu, but they work in the Raspberry Pi too. I don't think it works in the one.
Oh, that's a good point. Yes, the Ubuntu version of the Raspberry Pi distribution is Pi 2 specific. The Pi 2 just came out, what?
March.
Yeah, I was going to say 6 months ago, not even 6 months ago. More memory, faster processor. We'll see that as an option when we come up. There's an overclocking option will be presented to us. Fast enough now that it's kind of broken the barrier for some other applications that couldn't run before. And although this may not be that important to some people in the operating system, or some people in the audience, eventually Microsoft is going to be putting out a version of Windows 10 that will be able to be run on the Raspberry Pi.
It's out.
Is it out now?
The preview's out, but it doesn't have a GUI.
Well, there you go.
Oh, it's core.
So it's the best.
Yeah.
It's the best of all worlds.
You have to have a Windows 10 box to do it.
Yeah, you do.
So it's like 2 licenses.
That's interesting. All right. So I ejected this guy. It's of course the smallest, about small 32 gig. Pick that right there. Old enough to remember.
Well, that's a 2 you have.
This is a 2. Okay. I'm going to click that guy in here.
Have you had problems with different SD cards? I had to go through the whole shitload before I found one that actually worked in my Raspberry Pi original, because it seemed like apparently the ones were off and things, so that was a big thing. That, and I had to make sure I had a USB put on the power for the thing, so I actually had a little bit of trouble getting that running.
The only trouble I have had is with USB chargers. I had to try a couple before I found one that was not super wonky.
So that's one great thing about getting the kit, is you actually get a SD card that will work with it.
Right, you get it, it's a known quantity, right? So this should hopefully, there we go.
There was a wiki with user experience on different SD cards. I don't know if that is still being updated or.
Did you ever see that article by the guys who worked for Chumby about sourcing their micro SD cards? And how about a percentage of them were actually not actual SanDisk cards, but they were made by ghost ships? It's a very interesting article. Like, cards that look like brand name ones aren't, and like how you can identify them and things like that. Because there's a big counterfeiting industry.
Oh yeah, I don't know if I brought it in one time. I got that 128 gig USB, like SanDisk USB drive, and it looked perfect. It was like in a perfect exact package you would get at Best Buy or whatever. Exactly the same. You open it up, it was basically an LED, and I had 2 megabyte thing on there, but when you put it in your computer, it showed up as 128 gigs. You can, if you wrote to it, you just write to it like forever. It was just like, but it would be on.
Infinite storage. So I clicked through that kind of quick because I wanted to start the installer, but as you can see, I just selected Raspbian. There were 2 other options on there. One was, the other primary one is kind of what the Raspberry Pi was designed to do, which was teach programming to kids. So it's a Raspbian image that boots up directly to a Scratch programming environment. Scratch is a what do you call that? It's a block-based programming language where you sort of put tab A to slot B and you can make programming stuff out of it, which is pretty cool and it works really well. If you're familiar with the MIT App Inventor, which is a web-based way to make Android apps, they have theirs is a kind of a block-based programming environment as well, so it's very similar. Good way to teach kids programming. So while this is going, let's talk a little bit more about the purpose of this and what it's being used for and what the design goals were. It's easy for most of us, I would think, to acquire a computer nowadays. I was just at Best Buy of all places the other day, and it's pretty amazing technology you can get for about $300. And while we may not be able to spend $300 every month, we could probably save up a couple months going $300 and buy a computer, right? And if you think of the three things you really need to do computing nowadays, you need software, you need hardware, you need network. How do we get those now? Well, network we get from Cox Cable or CenturyLink here in town, or we go to the library and get it for free, or somewhere, right? We go to Starbucks and get it for free. Software we get for free from the internet, courtesy of our friends Mr. Stallman and Mr. Torvalds. Hardware is something that you have to acquire. Now, most of us can handle that, right? We can pay for the hardware, but we're not like the rest of the world for the most part. And so you think of kids, and I keep using kids as an example. You think of kids in other countries that they have access to software, right? Thanks to the Free Software Foundation. And groups like OLUG, they have access to the software. The network access is getting better as companies and other non-profit groups move in and provide network access. But the hardware is still a pretty big sticking point. And there's lots of groups. I used to be involved with a group at UNO that used to send computers to Africa. There's groups out there that are trying to do this. But traditionally, the technology just has still been too expensive. And that was really the rationale behind a system like this, is that it lowers the barrier to entry far enough that you can have some of these much smaller economies are able to actually play in the same game that we've been playing in for a long time. Yes, is it going to replace your desktop system? And no. But for what it does it very well, and it does it, for a very low price point. So that's what you have to think of when we're doing this. It's pretty amazing what you can pack in this little package. And a lot of the applications that have been outside kind of the traditional GUI, teach kids programming applications have reflected that. Simple embedded applications that were difficult, if not impossible, to do at the consumer level in the past because of all the different kinds of programming you had to learn and the different companies you had to deal with. Now, because it's an open platform, it's open to anybody and anybody can mess with it. So you talk about your weather stations or your home-built security systems or other ways that you can make this talk to the real world. One of the common add-ons you can get is a set of different daughter boards that will connect to the pinouts on here that will let you connect sensors and other things into the real world. The Beagle board is a common one. I know that works with Arduino as well, but you can connect that to a Raspberry Pi and get all sort of kind of inputs from the real world. So it's a nice base system to really get started on interacting with a lot of these things. And if you have some interesting projects that you think you want to do, this is a great system to do it on. Especially if you're already familiar with the free software environment like we are. It's a comfortable platform. You don't have to learn the Arduino stuff and the Python and everything you have to do to do that. So it works pretty well.
Do you have any plans that you haven't done yet?
What am I doing? What have I done with mine? I've had a couple different ones. I have, so far the primary use for mine has been as XBMC front ends. I'm not using that right now, but what I used in the past was an application called XBMC, which stood for Xbox Media Center. It's been renamed now, it's called Kodi, K-O-D-I. But it's open source, mostly Python-based media front end that runs really well on these devices. One of the key things about these little devices is also, although the CPU is quite small and relatively underpowered compared to the stuff we have on our laptops, it does have a dedicated graphics processing unit on it. And I took advantage of that when I was using this for XBMC playback. I had some 1080p MP4 files that it would play flawlessly with no frame dropping at all because of that dedicated graphics processor. Yes, sir. Doing that.
Is that open source and available to anyone, or is that only tied to certain things, so doesn't block your application?
I'm guessing you know the answer to that already based on your tone of voice. So I'm going to let you answer that one, Aaron.
What's your guess?
Well, I never had any kind of problem with it. I didn't have to jump through any hoops to make it work.
No, it is. To unlock 1080p processing, you actually do the codec is actually tied to the board. You actually do have to have a license for that component.
Why did I not have to do anything?
It's because Raspberry has already has taken care of it. They have a basic source for you. It's available as a binary block.
Oh, very interesting. All right, so I
So
was
that's the
thinking
reason why some people are preferring the Beagle phone, the Beagle board and stuff like that, because they actually have everything.
because it's actually open source. Interesting.
And it's
I did not know
also,
that.
there's not a mini support for this yet.
Because all of us are waiting with bated breath for mini sports. I'm just kidding.
Wow. Is this a Linux user group or the Linux haters?
Because
I can feel the love.
because both Linux users are waiting for that.
So I'll tell you,
I'm just kidding.
I've got. I have a version 1. I bought it
Yeah.
when they announced it. I've tinkered with it a little bit, but I never really used it for anything. And I decided to put Kodi on it. It was not stable. It didn't work.
Really?
I don't know if it was because mine was an early one. It wasn't like version 1.1. It was version 1.
The actual original.
And it would run for like maybe 5-10 minutes, and just I couldn't do anything on it.
Well, then it just, what, the CPU just went through the roof, or do you remember what it was?
I would like click
UI
on
stopped
things and
responding.
wouldn't really. Yeah.
The UI, one of the reasons that I don't use that anymore is the UI was really slow.
Yeah.
I mean, the playback was great,
That's-
but navigating
that's
the
what was
UI,
happening.
it was sometimes a 4 or 5 second wait between key presses on like that wireless keyboard, which was kind of bad. So yes, it is not the most powerful of systems. But what we're gonna do here when this is done installing is we're gonna look at the GUI a little bit, and then we're just gonna walk through installing the Plex Media Server and using it as an actual server appliance. Which back.
Okay, so currently I have a version 1 acting as my internal DNS server,
Okay.
which it sits there and hums, and it's much cheaper than the 2002 Dell desktop that I was running before power. I also have seen a guy who has actually done a lawn sprinkler control, and I'm probably going to appropriate his work because my lawn sprinkler control is so old that I have to go back several years to find the right JMP combination.
Oh, it doesn't know anything about 2015.
No, it doesn't know it. It's run off the edge of the map.
That's great.
There is Open Sprinkler,
Yeah.
and they sell boards that mate with Raspberry Pis.
Oh.
So they even run off your existing like 24-volt controller, because you have to use 24 volts to run the relays for the sprinklers. But there's a little feed off of it that'll run the Raspberry Pi.
Very cool.
2 places that you may want to go if you want to find things that hook into your Raspberry Pi are a place called SmartFun.
FUN?
Yep, SmartFun.
Oh, yeah, that
out of
sounds
Boulder,
familiar.
Colorado, and Adafruit out of
Yeah.
New York.
Just turned it up a half the time.
Did you say smart or spark? Spark. Thank you. I hear you.
I thought you said Smart Fun as
I
well.
hear you.
Spark. SmartFun. Yeah, Sparky.
So with the open sprinkler, is that all the things like you can control?
Gives you a
the
web
cell
interface
from
to your sprinkler.
Over the internet?
Yeah. I mean, it's like the cheapest 1994 HTML forms interface, but it gives you all the control you want. With an LCD display.
There's an automation system too, like it's not HomeSeer, I don't think, but somebody runs a.
Yeah, that sounds
Raspberry
familiar, yeah.
HomeSeer?
Homes, SEER, home seer.
SEER, I think is the one, and that's a home automation system that runs on top of the Pi.
Home seer, home automation system.
So, also makes an excellent main machine. We have one of those down at the maker.
Yes. There's actually a Raspberry Pi main-specific distribution called Emulation Station that is Raspbian based, and then it has a really nice little front end right on top of Raspbian, and it's actually designed to be all controlled with Xbox 360 wired controller, usually what I've used before. I've used that in all this group, so thanks really. All right, this is about done. So we'll see. We'll reboot here, and we'll walk through a little bit of a setup that lets you do fun things like overclock it and second time zone and whatnot. There we go. Let's successfully reboot them. There's no power button on this. If you want to shut it off, either through software or just pull the plug. There we see the boot screen. No, like I said, no Wi-Fi, but I have a USB wireless dongle in here that it should see without any trouble. Also, this is coming handy to me in the past. I got this for like $7 off Amazon. It's an HDMI to VGA converter. It works really well with these, so you can plug it in a regular roll, even a CRT monitor and stuff like that. So that's going to be quite handy. Okay, so this may be a little hard to see in the back there. The number one option there says expand file system. It ensures that all the SD card storage is available to the OS. We don't have to do that because Nude did it for us. Change the user password. We're just going to make it pi. Yep. Okay. Okay, so how do we want to boot? We want to boot, you can either boot into console text, graphical, or Scratch. We're going to just boot right into graphical with Pi. Internationalization options, don't care. Enable the camera. If you have a Raspberry Pi camera, you can do regular USB webcams with this, but there's also a Raspberry Pi specific one. It just doesn't use the dev, what is that? The dev video zero device. It's a different device name because it's a different kind of driver, so you have to actually turn that on. Here's the one we really care about. Configure overclocking for your Pi. Be aware, blah, 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 yes. Okay, so here's our 6 options. None, 700 megahertz ARM, or you can go all the way up to the Pi 2, which is what we have, which is a 1 gigahertz ARM processor. So we are going to go to.
So for overclocking, you're probably running with a higher amperage USB power supply to maintain your stability.
I would assume that you would have to do that, right, for a stability standpoint. And that is a good point. I said earlier, the only issues I've had has been with power. I'm just using I'm really using crappy power right now, but it's worked for me so far. It's a third-party, cheapo micro USB cable, and then I don't even know where I got that adapter from one of the many that I have at home. But I have had problems with them before, and the problems manifest themselves as random reboots and lockups. And when I was using the analog audio out on here, if you have really dodgy power, your audio will be horrible because there's a lot of bleed into the audio subsystem. So I'm going to finish this.
So yeah, usually the kits come with like a 2.5 amp.
Yeah, they'll give you not a whole terrible one.
By default, Raspberry Pis do not come with a real-time clock. So if you're thinking about doing something as a security application or the sprinkler system, you need to get the add-on with a real-time clock on it.
Not even the Pi 2 doesn't come with an RTC?
I don't know.
Okay.
You'd have to have a battery on it if there was such a thing.
Oh, that's a good point. Very true.
And to ship it without the battery, they can go to more places versus, shipping of batteries, like in planes and stuff like that.
Okay, so let's get this up and going. It's a relatively straightforward process to get Plex running. It's just like you'd install in any other system, except it's not in the default Raspbian repository, so we're going to add an additional repository, which we'll see here. Okay, so I booted right in and logged in, and this is what the GUI looks like. Again, don't expect a ton of performance out of this method if it doesn't work. By default, it has programming stuff. There's Scratch. There's a Wolfram Alpha client. It comes with a very simple web browser. Yeah, Mathematica, the technical computing system. Comes with actually comes with Minecraft Pi, which is a port of the mobile Pi you get on your Android or iPhone. Although it's free.
It is free?
The Minecraft version, the Raspberry Pi version of Minecraft is free. It's pretty stripped down compared to what you'd think of the normal Minecraft version, but it also has all the programming hooks in it. That's really why they did it, because there's all, if you're interested in that, check out the website minecraft.edu, and it's all these lesson plans and tutorials about how to basically teach programming using Minecraft. And with a bunch of Python code, you can automate all of your building inside Minecraft. It's pretty sweet. So here's the, the specific stuff. You can change display settings, whatever. Stuff we always expect to see, right? So I'm going to do a shell here. This is the load over here. You can watch my CPU go up whenever I launch anything.
Or move the mouse.
Or move the mouse.
Or height. Yeah, like they say, 5% just type 2. Wow.
Hey,
Actually,
with responsibility comes great power.
let's do this first. Okay, so it's on my little Wi-Fi adapter, which is good. I'm going to join Exchange, yes. So can we pick that up for me without any trouble? That's a good deal.
Connection. We'll have to reboot it.
I know it's a little hard to see. Okay, I wanted to make sure SSHD was running. And my IP is 10.100.0.143. And, okay, no firewalls. All right, you got that IP, John, in your noodle.
143.
I'm going to switch back to my Mac.
Now, did you have SSHD running?
Yeah. VG-ish.
You run. Searching. Oops.
Omaha, back to the bottom.
That was the max.
No, when you go away from it too long, it forgets that there's anything external connected to it. There we go. That's 1280. Let's get a little bit better. Let's go switch off. Oh. Okay. All right, everybody say that okay? 10.100.0.143, right?
Right. C.
Hey, all right, great. Now, let's go back here. We follow a simple set of instructions here. If you've ever installed anything on a Debian-based system, you'll recognize this. I'm going to walk through this very quickly. Let's see.
Ugly Magoose repository.
Okay, so we're just going to walk through these here. Pre-install requirements. Generate locales. Let's make sure all this works. Locale. Dash A. Alright, go to the full screen. That's going to be clear. Okay. And adios, GCF8. Generate it.
Still doing great work.
Yeah, even though I set the keyword to default, and by default it's ENGB UTF-8, we want ENUS. So we need to locale gen and find US UTF-8. Well, that's ES. All right. US. There we go.
But you need to turn off the, or it defaults to UK, and that's just switching it to the other.
Right. Now we can do locale gen. Takes a few seconds. Okay, well, that's going. What else are we going to do? Here, that's good. Okay. Now we're going to install the additional repository. We need to make sure we get this app transfer to HTTPS because it actually pulls it over HTTPS, which we like. Right, that's done. So I'm going to install this guy. Actually, I don't have to do that. I can just do install. So while we're doing this, has anybody else done Raspberry Pi projects or heard about any that sound interesting? What's that?
I was gonna.
You were gonna?
Yeah.
What was yours gonna be, Sam?
I was going to be using XDMX as a network display, but I got lazy.
I saw somebody,
Stadium.
I was reading a blog post, somebody did a Stratum 1 NTP server using the Raspberry Pi.
Stratum, really?
Yeah.
Is that a game?
No,
Strap.
an NTP server, network time protocol server, defined by different straps. Yeah.
So Stratum 1 is the top level. Like if you went to the Naval Observatory NTP
Yeah.
server, that is a Stratum 1.
Right.
They recommend that you don't connect to Stratum 1s because they're so busy.
Right.
So they like go to a Stratum 2, like pool on atp.org. There's usually a lot in there for the time protocol.
So I'm sorry, all I'm doing here is adding an additional repository, this dev today from Germany. I'm adding it to my app sources list. So go ahead, Bert.
I did a project with Google Voice and a mathematic thing on there.
Yeah.
Where it would recognize your voice and so you'd ask it a question and it would have answer it.
Very cool.
So,
And type it through Mathematica. Maybe the answer is
what's the other one?
Wolfram Alpha.
Wolfram Alpha.
Okay.
That was a couple years ago. So.
That's pretty neat. At Infotech this year, one of the techs at Google had a Lego Mindstorm robot that was connected to his Raspberry Pi that was connected to an app he had on his iPad. And a little Pi camera that was on the robot. He was driving it around once on his iPad. He said he had a lot of fun doing that. Okay, so this is just doing this updating the repository.
If you have kids, there's a board called a Makey.
You've got one upstairs.
Yeah, okay.
So my claim to infamy right now is that as part of getting some free Makey from Instructables, I have done an Instructable using a Makey and Scratch to build a hand-drawn menu for ordering from a restaurant. You drew a hamburger and a chocolate shake and a vanilla shake.
It actually drew it?
Yeah, no, you draw
You draw it
a
on a
pencil, connect that to the Makey because it conducts electricity, and you press the picture to order. That's at Maker Faire last year, we did have a banana piano.
Yeah.
Bananas look pretty sad by the end of the day.
Lots of fingers on it.
Couldn't use a potato.
All right, so now that I've done that, out of the repo, I have Plex Media Server, so I'm just doing apt-get install Plex Media Server. Again, I'm not really dwelling on the Slack because I'm just following instructions on the section going down here. Yes, and then you can update very easily. And then we're going to start it, and we'll get some fun stuff. So, yeah, this is kind of big. While that's going on here, we can look at, actually, let's do this. While that's going on, I'll show you what my Plex Media Server interface looks like. Plex is a pretty cool program. It's actually an old port of, it's actually a port of XBMC from way back in the day. That's what the UI started as. It's now server software that runs on most, Windows, Mac, Linux. And you point it at your media library, they'll index it for you, and then make it available over a number of different formats, the web being one of them. There's also specific Roku apps for Plex. There's actually desktop apps for Linux, Windows, and Mac. There's the Android app. There's mobile apps, and they have Chromecast support, right? There's an app for the, what's the little Google one called that I added in Infotech? The Chrome Puck.
The Nexus player.
The Nexus player, thank you. There's an app for Nexus player, and it works really well. This is actually why I'm not using XBMC on my TVs at home anymore, because I just have 2 Rokus running the Plex app in my Plex.
Do you still need to have a Plex account to run the apps?
You don't.
Or they can just connect in? You can just
If
connect
you're
in?
locally, you don't.
Okay.
If you want to share it with somebody, you do.
If you pass that VPN around, you have to log in.
Right, so the server software is free. If you want to, let's see, the Android app is free.
Yeah, it is now. I bought it.
It wasn't free for a while. It was $4.99.
That was it. It's gone back and forth. For a while, the Android app was free, but the iPhone app was $4.99. Yeah, I don't remember all their variances. And the Roku app is free for a certain amount of time. for like 3 months, and then it stops working until you pay like $3 or something.
Yeah,
It's weird.
I'll have to go back in online.
It's weird, yeah.
Oh,
It's-
I never paid mine.
yeah, well, maybe you got grandfathered in, I don't know. So Flex's model is interesting. Tom mentioned that one of the other nice features of it is you can share your library with friends. So I can click on my account here, and I can go to, that's not users, that's friends. And I can see all the people that have access to my library and what they're actually watching, and I can see other libraries that I have access to. So like here's my brother-in-law down here. He has made his libraries available to me, and I can stream them. And the streaming works really well. You know, it's about the same as Netflix, you know, with regards to like your bandwidth usage. So it's pretty full featured. I've been pretty happy with it. You can do bandwidth limitations, right? The other nice thing about it, we're going to see examples of this when you get going here, is, and this is another reason why I really like this solution, is that it transcodes your files on the fly. So depending upon the type of client you're using, it will transcode the files for you. Specifically, if you're using a Roku, which only supports a certain number of file formats, it will transcode it for you on the server side. Now, you may think correctly, the Raspberry Pi isn't exactly the best platform to use to do live transcoding of large video files. And you're right, it's not. But it works. We would have to jump through a little bit of a hoops to get it working. Wow, this is a really slow download. That's all right. I didn't think this was going to take that long.
Chad Homan is commenting. He says that if you want to pay for Plex Pass, $150 is a lifetime subscription.
So the other option Plex has from a business standpoint is what's called Plex Pass. And it is, I've seen other software applications do this. Sugar CRM is an example of one that does this. By paying for it, either a yearly fee, the yearly fee is $40, I want to say $30 or $40. You get early access to their software, to their apps. You also get some additional features. I did end up paying for that for the primary reason that one of the additional features is that if you have the Plex app on your device, it will automatically back up all of your photos to your Plex server. Now, there's lots of services out there that will do this for you already, including Google, right? But the problem I have with that is I have a wife and 4 children. Each one of them have devices that can take pictures, and each one of them saves it to their own separate Google account. I wanted them all to save to one family account that I could have access to and archive and do all kinds of fun things with, and that is an option with Google+. So I really like that functionality of Plex, because it saves them all in archives that I can access on my server directly. So I also get the preview versions of their Roku apps. Oh, and also if you pay for it, you get the Xbox 360 and Xbox One apps. I don't believe those come free.
And PlayStation.
That requires pay as well. Okay, I only have a 360 at home, so I know that I couldn't use that until I bought the Plex Pass app, and that works really well. Better than just the what's that called? The DNA stuff.
DLNA.
DLNA. That works. Although Plex does support that, it does export its media as a DLNA server on your network, but it's at least on the Xbox it was wonky. They wouldn't always play.
Disk velocity not available.
Yeah.
DLNA.
Rewinding and forward winding was quite difficult, etc. Okay, well this is half done.
So will it find you still have a Mythbox?
I have not had a Mythbox for a number of years, primarily because I don't have cable anymore. So I got rid of cable 5 or 6 years ago. I just had old Cox analog cable. I never did the digital thing. And then for a while I kept the Mythbox around, just recording over-the-air stuff. And then I realized I went like 2 months without actually recording anything, and I didn't miss it, so I just turned it off. So no,
If the Plex Media Server would find that MPEG 2 stuff that it had.
Yeah, yeah, I believe so. It's still there's some DLNA that's built into Myth TV as well. So I've actually pulled my Toshiba TV. Will actually, I believe it finds my Mythbox.
But as your question is, would you be able to have a Myth TV box on your network, record shows, and then have them show up in the Plex library? I think the issue would be, I don't think it would be a file format issue, I think it would be like an identification and naming
The
issue.
metadata.
The metadata, right? Because,
With a renaming script or something.
yeah, Plex does its best to figure out what your media is based on the file name. And it does a pretty good job. It uses open services like the tvdb.org to pull the data. What I do with mine is if I, go ahead, Ron.
Well, I know a few years ago you had to have all your videos in a particular directory, particular order. You know, I mean, I really just wanted it to give it a lot of multiple directories.
And it would just
Had
figure it
search.
out. Yeah.
I didn't want to organize it.
I have,
So is it better?
I don't know if I can answer that. I have mine relatively organized well, we can go back to mine. Here's how I have mine organized. These are all top level directories starting from here. So these are all top level directories on my media server. Audiobooks, home videos, mobile phone. These are all directories that I created. And then underneath each one, so like TV for everyone, underneath each one, then I have, if I go by folder, I have each show in its own folder, and then I can see, so like here's AD, the Bible continues, and then here's all the episodes there. So what I focus on doing is making sure the file name represents the show and the season and the episode correctly. And so what I'll just do then is make sure that it lines up with whatever the TVDB, it's .com, not .org. So if I have like, I don't know, Gossip Girl is not a show, or Gossip Girl. Okay. So you pick one of those, and then it will type. Just an example. If you click all here, it'll give you the full list of like season 2, episode 12 is called this. I actually have a little Python script I use called TV Namer, which is on GitHub, that will try to look at your file name and guess it and match it against this. So I know if TV Namer finds it and guessed it correctly against this, then Plex will as well. So I just make sure they're named that way.
There are some container formats that do contain the metadata. You know,
Oh, they theoretically could, yeah. I've never really had much luck with that. I've never really messed with it very much.
If it's named right.
Yeah, it's named. The point is, like Tom said, it's named right. Plex will figure it out with pretty good accuracy. And if it's wrong, you can fix it manually.
And a lot of people are putting files up with the file names that are pretty close.
Yeah.
What about the home videos or just other personal content? It's obviously not ever going to be in a database like that.
I tell Plex not to even bother indexing. So in the library, so this is what Plex calls it a library. Each one of these is a library. For this library, I told it that this was where did there you go, agents. And this defines what it uses to look up information. My options are personal, free base, or the movie database, the tvdb.com. I just pick personal media so it doesn't try me. But if I go to like TV for everyone and do advanced, it's the TVDB. Okay? So that's where I tell it what kind of content I have here.
So offhand, there might not be a way to add tags to this is video of this kid, or this is video of this event.
Oh, from this interface maybe?
You like add your own metadata.
Exactly. And then
Let's see.
Sorts that out for me.
Are you want to watch some home videos?
Sure.
You might be able to change your.
I think you can, actually.
So I guess what?
This is from 2000. Oh wow. This is, okay. So anyway, this is one of my home videos. So let's see. I have an edit option here. Oh, there you go.
So if you go to the poster option,
There's metadata right there.
And you can.
There's tags.
yep. You can add. Go to the poster, you can change it, you can add new ones if you want to.
Cool. I've never actually messed with it. I try to keep mine organized just by year. I have non-indexed tag.
Right.
So I try to keep my media as interface agnostic as I can, because who knows if something new will come along, I don't want to be locked into this forever, right? I'd rather just have it all nice and boxes.
Some of the camera workflow stuff is like that too, where you download the images like year, camera type,
Yeah.
job, whatever.
Well, yeah, because that would read the JPEG metadata, right, and it saves, or whatever format it is. Okay, you're very patient, thank you, this is almost done, 8 times. So what we're going to do when this is done is, we're going to do the base setup, and then we're going to hit it with the web browser, because you do most of the setup through the web UI. There actually isn't an interface for the server, it's all through the web UI. And then we're going to walk through what you would traditionally do in this environment, which is configure an external data source with media on it, and we'll set up some libraries and scan. So I have a USB key here that has a couple of video files on it. So we're going to walk through getting set up on this guy and actually scan. And then we'll try and see if it'll play.
What's the name of this guide we're using again?
The URL,
The TEDB.
htpcguides.com is the link. Here's the site. Streamline your own user experience. I honestly just searched for Plex install Raspberry Pi. We are going to have to do one more thing when this is done, which is on here. The Raspberry Pi, if we try to have it play something that needs transcoding, Plex is going to say no. But there's a simple way around it. It's not that the Pi can't do it, the Plex team just thinks that the CPU is slow enough that it would be a bad user experience, and it would expose you to a bad user experience.
Does it work well as a front end? Like, you know, when we install the Plex, what's
The little Plex app.
the player app? Does it work well for that?
Assuming your server is on a different device or the same device.
Different device. Because how I would use this is I would use it as a player, not as a server.
I don't know the answer to that. My recommendation, Thomas giving us thumbs up here. My recommendation to you, if you're really just looking for a player, you can get a Roku for $50.
You know what I did? I've got a player. I'm using one of those Intel compute sticks.
Oh, okay.
Player. I got the Migo pads or whatever too. Those are like $70 now. And those things, that's the same thing as the compute stick, but it has an extra USB port.
Cool.
I think that would be a good player for it.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, the reason why I was looking at this is it has, the Raspberry Pi has the HDMI CEC so that your TV remote control
Can run that.
Can run the player app.
Absolutely.
Whereas with the compute stick, I have to use something else. I can't just use my remote for the TV.
That's a good point. I don't know how to set that up, the remote stuff to do that, but I assume there would be a way to do it. Really, it shouldn't be my only experience with this media player on Raspberry Pi is XBMC, and the Plex Media front end is a fork of XBMC, so you would think it would be a problem. You've done this before with success, okay? Pulling off a remote server. All right, this is finally done downloading, and it's unpacking now. We'll see. But for my use case, as you know, I did already have it, and the requirements for this. My number one requirement had to be wipe acceptance factor, and so the Roku won.
Well, that phone application for the player is awesome.
What just runs on your phone?
It runs kind of like Chromecast. You just use it and it plays right on the player. That's why I like it. It's awesome.
Yep. My kids are already hiding my Roku remote, so I have the Roku app on here just so I can do this from the Roku over Wi-Fi. All right, so this is done. Thank God, finally. Actually, I don't know.
You know, the funniest thing about the HDMI CEC stuff is, you know, my amp is controllable, the Chromecast is controllable, so my sister wanted to tell her kids it was time to leave one night. So we recorded a video like an hour ahead of time, uploaded it to YouTube. I turned on the amp and the television remotely and told the Chromecast to play a video. And then like a minute later you heard it going, "Okay kids, it's time to go." And they all were like, "What?"
Okay, so the app did install automatically started the server, which is good. We did a netstat to verify. Yep, sure enough, we have a process called Plex Media Serve, which is listening on port 32. Actually, 2 ports, but the one we only care about is 32400. That's the default. So 10, 100, 0, 143, right? 32400/web. Hey, success.
Yay.
The demo gods smile on me. Now watch just sit here and spin for the next 5 minutes.
Can't find media.
There you go. Okay, so we're gonna say 3 here.
You've read it before, of course.
Yes, I read it very quickly when you weren't looking. So it's a pretty basic interface here. They have little messages here you can go to. What we are specifically interested in is this little plus sign right here, which will add libraries. All right. Before we actually do this, I'm going to go back to
SCP.
this guy, and first I have to copy
Ooh, good choice.
Q. And copy one more image to this and factor it up, so we got to copy over 2. All obtained legally as far as you know. Okay, so we're going to copy this over. We're going to put this in the Pi, and we're going to mount it just like we would any sort of normal Linux file system, even though it's probably, I don't know, what was this, TFS? No, it's probably FAT. Let's see your file system. That's 100 FAT30.
I don't know the machine. Well, I guess I do.
What that reads, right?
Technically, my wife's machine.
So, once you did this factory file system?
Yeah.
So you can't put anything greater than 4 gig on it in one file?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, if I were doing this for real, I'd put a real file system on it. But yeah, it's not fault. He gave me a USB key.
No, it is now.
And I didn't know
I thought it was a 2 gig limit.
You Google guys.
it. No, I think it's 4. It's 4 gigs.
That's nothing to do with Google, that's my
Yeah,
wife.
4. Okay, it's 4. I don't.
I just got busted by that recently. I had a factory file system. I was trying to pull over some files. It's like, crap.
Why is that failing? Okay, so we'll eject this guy. Nice. And we'll put this in the last remaining USB port. Go back here.
Must be nice having 4. I only got 2.
It's a good sign. dmessage sees SDA1. If I do fdis-l, that's SDA. Hey, okay. So I'm going to make a directory called, I don't know, media. Is there already media? Oh, there's already media. I'm just going to mount this. Mount dev SDA1 under media. See the media. Hey, look at this. Okay. And these are actually named what I call correctly because it's essentially how the tvdb.com would like them. It's Batman the Animated Series, Season 1, Episode 1, and Doctor Who, Season 8, Episode 2. Notice that one is an ABI, and one is MP4. And that ABI says what? It's DivX, good old DivX. And then the MP4 is MPEG-4. All right, so I'm going to go back to Plex here. I'm going to say add, and I'm going to say TV show. Just the name is TV show. Next. Browse for media folder. Look at that, it's a directory called media. And the library. Okay, and the bottom of this little pop-up says scanning the TV show section.
Now, you didn't configure any data sources.
That's right, I did not. It defaulted to looking them up. If I, let's see, how do I do this? So now I have a library here called TV shows, which I did not have before. If I click back in there, I see nothing. Huh, I wonder why. Let's go here and let's do edits. Advanced, TVDB. Well, let's go here and let's say update. This will force a refresh. Yeah, is that there's addition? Do I have Did I not give anybody access to it?
Only got 7.
No.
I've got all of it. What about the directory? Oh, I guess it's mounted as the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that might be the wrong there.
Yeah. Your meteor files are older than your date.
1970 was a good year.
No. That's important.
Okay, let's do this. I'm going to mount that guy.
A.
Sorry. Grab what I'm doing. Okay, now I will. No, it's not letting me permission. I have to give the permission to mount, I suppose.
Does it have to write to that media folder and keep metadata? Or does it
I noticed that no, it should not have to. It shouldn't have to, though. Why would it have to write to the source?
Did it write some file in there?
I don't think that
Well,
was
the metadata is stored.
Metadata shouldn't be stored there.
Oh, no, you're right. It stores everything.
All right, so if I do mount, oops. Let's do one. So mount, yeah, that's media. What's the mount option for, do I have to read the main page?
dash O, RW?
Yes.
Dash O.
There you go. That's for media. Well, FAT32 doesn't have the concept of permissions, though. You know what? Let's just make this easier. Sorry, this is taking so long.
So copy it one way.
Yeah, let's just do that. So I'm going to make a directory called media2, and we're just going to copy this to media2. I did that this part. I didn't. Well, yeah, no, I did. I tested this at home with an external hard drive that was
Formatted
ext4 formatted. Yeah, not tested this with a FAT32 USB. So we'll let this finish and we'll try this again.
Speaking of SD cards, I noticed I formatted it. I was trying to copy some operating systems to a USB stick. And on CentOS 7, I was hitting, unmount, safely eject. It wasn't working when I go to boot up from that USB stick. So I tried sync before I did unmount and safely eject. It took like 2 minutes to actually sync everything to the USB stick.
UMount
UMount
should do that for you, though.
Well, I was just using the GUIs. I don't know.
Yeah, if you do a command line, it will run the same beforehand. That's why UMount sometimes takes longer. Right?
But so I did sync, it didn't work. Oops.
Might that give you a sign up?
Did you do anything to change the SSL certificate
Because it's
on
not
the web interface?
You're just saying, you're beating your Raspberry Pi.
Yes, I am. There it goes. I'm sorry, the question was SSL what?
Did you change the certificate or anything, or you just use the one that they have?
It is, I'm not even getting it over HTTP or HTTPS right now.
It's just a brand new
It's
install.
It's a brand new install,
Okay.
this is just port 80. So,
You maybe just want to add a channel?
Change it.
no, I got it. Yes, I will.
Change
do
it
that.
to
I got it.
Pi.
If the media.
Check your ownerships and that's still 644.
There, well, it seems it's readable and executable by everybody.
Yeah.
So let's try and see. All right, we're gonna add another one. We're gonna say it's TV shows. We're gonna say, where is this? It is. VK2. And
I wonder if it didn't see media correctly in that.
there we go. So now it's pulling stuff from the TV. There you go. It just changed Batman TAS to Batman the Animated Series. It's still updating here. One of the nice things about this is there is an API you can use to programmatically manipulate your Plex library. You used to do it with curl or wget. It's just HTTP. It's a RESTful API. I use it when I add new content remotely. I call this little script that forces it to do this little update. So it shows up here automatically. Just from the command line, so that's pretty handy. All right, sometimes it won't show the, it still says like.
So it doesn't have like iNotify built in, like those folders you add in the media thing, they don't.
You can set in the options.
He's finished the process and it's still working.
Yeah, you can say update your library in real time. I found that to be pretty CPU intensive when you're copying a lot of data to it. Or you can say update it like 2 or 3 times a day. I don't do that. I know when I add stuff to it, so I just do it manually. But yes, you could. That is an option. There we go. Okay. So if we remember, this guy was an MP4 file. I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to click play down here. You watch. You can't see it. The Wi-Fi is getting hit pretty hard. Let's look at the top here. Load is 2.3. Flex media server is consuming majority of the CPU. They're not consuming CPU. So yeah.
Is that just using HTML5?
What the
It's not
player?
Flash.
Oh, that's a good point. This is this is not Flash.
Okay.
This is HTML5 video. Okay, so that works. Now let's go back here and let's do. We're going to keep top going here. You can see the load's going down slowly. 2.1. Let's hit spacebar for some more to make it go up. There, it's going to 9, so it's going down. Now I'm going to play. Oh, there we go. This server is not powerful enough to convert. It didn't even try. It just immediately gave up. All right. However, there's a way around that. And because all it is, it's actually of all things, it's a JavaScript check that's happening to do this. So we just have to follow instructions on this page. You have to find the flex.js. So probably in the spot that it says it is Flex Media Server,
Web plugins,
resources, plugins, web clients, bundle, contents, resources.
It's very Mac-like.
Nice. Oh, I'm sorry, I meant I'm Nordic. It's OLUG. So that's again, library. Yeah, it is Mac-like, isn't it? Application support, Flex Media Server, plugins, web, client bundle, contents, resources, JS. There you go, longest path in the world. And then we want to, the file is, it's been sacrilege. VI, flex.js. And you're searching for this line.
validate transcoder function.
There it is.
Jesus, obviously.
Yes. In this section. So right here, validate transcoder function ET if not can direct play. So that's the key. If the MP4 is direct play, right? But the ABI is going to have to transcode. So we are just, we're basically leaving the validate transcoder function in there, but we're just forcing it to return false. So it's basically not validating the transcode. Save that. And then they recommend that you chown it to root and remove write permissions from it, so your upgrade doesn't get it. That's what happens when you update core files and run out, people. You're responsible now. They said this should work, and now you have to do the one that you usually live as well. Okay, it says refresh your browser, so I'm just going to go back here. I'm going to get out of this, and I'm going to go to home, and I'm going to refresh this. Make sure it's breaking the thing. So far, so good. Okay, I'm going to try this. I'm going to hit play.
Well, it's better.
No error. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Your video is very important to us. Please stay on the
13.
line.
I didn't say it was going to be fast. I said it was going to work. 17, 8. There you go. 17 seconds.
Venus Prime Corporation.
And this is like a 90 meg file. This is not a big file. So it works. What's the load? 3.1. But in my experience of doing this, although it takes a while to start, once it started, Now skipping around is an issue, right? Let's skip forward a bunch. 1, 2, 3, 4. Because it's got to restart the transcoding. So that's of course an issue. It's an issue with anything you have like 2 transcodes. It's got to start over, and my load is high. It's almost 4. Something like that. 4.
So when you exit, save that transcode.
No.
It's on the floor.
And I don't think there's a way to do that. That actually you seem to take it long. That's a good question. I don't think there's a way to do it. I haven't found a way to do it. It'd be kind of cool if there was, but it is.
Does it save where you left off?
Right, yeah.
Yes, thank you. So I paused here, right? I close this. I go back. Notice the little bar down here, right? And then I hit play, and it gives me the option, right? Now it's going to start transcoding again, but at least it did pick up from where I was.
Would you presume does it start with transcoding?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's not running now, right? My load is still pretty high. There, it's going down. It's not transcoding anymore. It's down. Aaron brought up the fact that there's a thing over here called channels. This is kind of a cool thing. The idea is that there's all this web content out there, and Plex can be your front end for it. So not unlike a Roku or some other kind of media device, I can pick one of these and I can say, oh, I like revision 3. I'm going to install it. Now, once it installs, I can access this directly through the Plex interface, which is kind of cool. Again, if you use XBMC, this is analogous to the XBMC plugins, video plugins you can get. I've had varying success with these channels, sort of like the XBMC plugins. Companies mostly don't like you doing this because it usually bypasses their ads. For example, there is a Food Network app, Food Network channel that works some days and doesn't work other days because things are messed up.
It's a constant struggle.
It's an arms race, right?
Is there still anything on Revision 3? I thought they got totally absorbed.
Man, I don't know.
Because Discovery
Yes,
works spot on.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
I wouldn't think, I mean,
Yeah, why would that be? Okay, recently I'm in a Revision 3 channel. There you go. And I can probably play the game. And it's a high image, right? The Mac isn't doing anything, it's just showing the interface. I have the Plex app on my phone as well. If I got on the Wi-Fi, I can connect to this and do all the same stuff that I'm doing here. Talk about on these two.
So you can control it.
No, it's a client.
Oh, for watching it.
To watch, right? There you go.
Right, let's go. Move on to super successful cartoons, Avatar, The Last
Yes. So there you go. Let's see. Oh, you can see activity. You can see an activity log. Who played what from where. You can see now playing on different clients. You know, obviously multiple people hit this at once. Under settings, let's see, server settings here. So this is the last thing we'll look at, and then we'll be done. So here's the different options you have for server settings. Some we might care about. Remote access. Oh, there you go. Not available outside your network. What somebody's ended up for. You have if you sign in to access your server anywhere, you don't have to pay for a Plex account. It's free, but they want you to sign in, and it's really nice to do because then wherever your account signs in, you have access to all the same libraries, and it just magically works across everything. You can do different port mapping here. Here's where you can define different agents or different scrapers for different kinds of content. Okay, transcoder. Transcoder quality you can set for yourself. One of them is make my CPU hurt. This one is, okay, preferred. I'm trying to see where, there's the DLNA. Yeah, enable the DLNA server. I was trying to see where the one that's, oh, there you go. I'm not seeing the advanced options because I didn't think so advanced. Here's the advanced stuff. What I wanted to see on the transcoder was this. There you go. You can have it offer higher or different different rates, different bit rates of your video depending upon the connection. So if you're on my phone in Timbuktu streaming over 3G, you know, you can have it change. Transcoder quality is automatic, or I can change that. Oh, that's still the same options, right? There's the temp directory, so no permanent directory for transcoding.
So you could, if you had, I guess on a system with a lot of memory, you could do that. Make it a temp folder in memory, RAM disk for the.
Well, I suppose if that's a bottleneck for you, there's a bunch of DLNA stuff that's available under there. Oh, here you go, Rob. Update my library automatically is an option. Update my library periodically, and then you can set hourly or like on a cron job.
On a Raspberry Pi, it might just be too much.
Yeah, there you go. You can do it every 15 minutes daily, whatever.
Right.
Yeah. It'll automatically check for server updates. And it'll tell you on this UI that, oh, you need there's an update available. So it's pretty slick. I've been happy with it. We use it quite a bit, both on the mobile side. I really like the library sharing features and the remote features. My wife's in Kansas City right now. She can pull up her phone, hit her server, and watch whatever kind of show she wants, assuming her network connection is halfway decent.
There is also the paid version. Did you get the thing where you can have it so it's like kids, you can censor your stuff?
Oh, you can do content filtering.
Content stuff so that
Nice.
kids can see like this stuff and you can see this stuff. That
Very
is
cool.
Probably a good.
So you can do Plex for Chromecast. You broadcast it to there, I believe.
Well, there's no such thing as an app for Chromecast, right? It's a device that has Chromecast
It has
support.
to appear in the app for you to send it.
So there's two ways to do that. If the app itself has Chromecast support, when you hit play, you'll have that little Chromecast option. Or if you have a new enough version of Android, when you pull down on your little, I know it's impossible to see this, but when you pull this down, I actually have an option called Cast Screen that no matter what shows up on my phone, it will send it to my Chromecast, so it's not application
So you take your Chromecast with you to the hotel room.
I think the challenge there would be getting the Chromecast to work through the hotel's goofy Wi-Fi authentication port, right?
Right. Chromecast is built into the app.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Chromecast has been built into I was Chromecasting Plex stuff before my version of Android could do it natively because I was doing it within the app. But now, if you have a newer version of Android, you don't need to worry about that. My load is back down to 0. Of course, I have to change that if I move the mouse.
And so,
It's not updating. It's.
I feel it. Yes.
now using the Raspberry Pi as the server at home, how is this when you have like 12 people streaming from?
Well, that would not work in any way at all. No, I would not expect this to work for maybe more than 2. And I'm guessing here. I don't do this. I have my Plex server at home. Is the 2002 Dell desktop that I use for Teams. No, it's an old desktop. So I'm not. But I did actually set this up for my neighbor. He's using it, but he never streams. He never has more than one person streaming one. So we haven't tested it. We haven't load tested to see how well it would work. I would think. I mean, you saw the load when we were just doing the straight in before, no transcoding. The load sat at about 2, which isn't bad. I would just think you'd be able to handle a couple clients doing that once. But we need to test that. I don't have any direct
The
experience.
more you write to that SD card, the shorter your life in the SD card is.
That's a good point. Another great reason for having predefining that temporary directory somewhere, either in memory or maybe a USB. Maybe you have a USB for temp.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's a great point. Yeah. The more you write to that.
Where alarm.
That's true. That's very true. That's very true. Okay, so
manifest mount your transcode and see how that goes.
ooh, that's hardcore right there. Over Wi-Fi. I will share these URLs for the documentation stuff out on the list. And yeah. Any other questions? Mr. Townley.
Well, so, like one of the things we didn't like Netflix is that it didn't really filter for like what kids can watch and what it's okay for adults to watch and all. Does any of this kind of stuff allow?
Parental control.
Parental controls.
Yeah, so they're watching something through the Plex, and would they, but say it's on Netflix or somewhere else, the kernel, if the kernel controls extend beyond.
Beyond just your local media?
beyond your local media to Netflix.
Well, you can't use Netflix through this.
You can't?
There's no plugin for it.
No.
They don't support it.
Amazon Prime?
No.
No. They have their own clients that they want to use.
If you want to do that, you get Roku.
Yep.
Exactly.
There are, for Netflix, you can set up multiple profiles for individuals.
And the kids filtering does work very well.
And there is a new. When was the last time you
Not in my
had?
account.
When was the last time you have Netflix now?
No, we just switched back to Amazon Prime.
Um,
That was one of the things that. when Netflix-
That was the-
I set up a profile. I set up a profile on my Netflix account that is kid specific,
Uh-huh.
and it was just a checkbox, kids,
Yeah,
and it pretty much filtered all for me.
yep.
So I don't have to really.
That's what we do.
I don't have to do anything.
When you first sign in,
I
it
mean, yeah, it's a
asks
sweet, it's a
what
ton of
profile
Disney Channel
to
graphs, but it's mostly okay. But the other thing to do, just the Plex specific solution to that, in my opinion, this is the way I do it, is I organize my media into, you maybe saw on mine, I have folders.
You have
called
adult TV shows.
Movies for adults.
Uh-huh.
It's not adult movies, it's movies for adults.
Sure.
It's not. And movies for everyone, and then TV for adults, TV for everyone. And so I could, now I don't, I haven't done this, but I could set up different Plex logins for my kids so they wouldn't see those libraries. But I mostly do it just for organizational standpoint. So when the kids want to browse movies, say, okay, kids, pick a movie. And
Ooh,
this is the list. So I just kind of manage it through the file system.
Hooray!
Thanks for doing an invite.
Thanks, everybody.
I don't know if anybody has seen the Nomad key. Essentially a USB on one side, micro USB on the other. It fits on your keychain for charging your phone. So you always have a USB cable with you wherever you go.
Cool.
It's $20 on Amazon. Pretty expensive cable-wise, but considering I also bought 5 USB cables for $20 or $15, maybe even cheaper. Anchor had a great price on them. So. Nomad key. Yeah. They have an iPhone and a regular USB version.
The iPhone is the 30 pin or just the Lightning?
It's just the Lightning, not the 30 pin. Although there are multi-cable solutions for those, but not quite as small. I've seen one that folds around and pulls out, and it's kind of a mess. But thanks for coming, people, on the video. We'll see you next month.